Will there ever be a normal day of Gateshead Football Club? Yes, hello everyone, and you know exactly why I'm doing a new video today. And this would have been something I would have done pretty much on the spot if it hadn't been for the Whitby game last night. But as I'm sure you've all seen by now, of course, the big news this week is that Mike Williamson, Ian Watson, and Chris Bell have left their positions at Gateshead Football Club to take up the vacancies at MK Dons, and subsequently Rob Elliott has come in as interim manager to be assisted by Lewis Story and Carl Magnay. So a lot of change all around at Gateshead. I think obviously it's really like disappointing news that for us anyway that Mike has decided to move on and take on a job at MK Dons. But me, like I think pretty much every Gateshead fan really does wish him well, and is delighted for him that he's got his chance to manage in the Football League. I mean, I think we would have all preferred it if his first experience of EFL football would have been with us after getting us promoted, but it wasn't to be with that in the end. And obviously he's taken Ian Watson with him, who's been an absolutely exceptional servant to the football club over the years, being a strength and conditioning coach, being the assistant manager to Ben Clark when unfortunately Joe Calla was the owner, and he was the owner despite what anyone tells you. And obviously assistant to Mike as well, and Chris Bell, who's obviously was the physio, was a very busy boy last season, especially with the amount of injuries that we did have, and again just a really good all-round servant to the club. So all three of them are going to be a great miss, but as they say, if you leave a club in a better position than what you found it in, then you've clearly done a good job. When Mike first took over, we had no players on our books whatsoever. We'd just been demoted to the National League North on the back of all the absolute chaos that was caused behind the scenes the season before. He essentially had to start a team from scratch with pretty much with a very limited budget as well. I know obviously we were full time in the National League North, which is a division of mostly part-time clubs, but we all went into that season not really knowing what to expect, and it was maybe a little bit ropey at times that season. It was obviously eventually stopped because of the outbreak of COVID, but obviously on the basis of the points per game, we did manage to secure a playoff spot that season. We're obviously beaten in the semi-finals, and the season after was pretty much a non-event, really, wasn't it? Like no fans allowed into any games. The season obviously never really taken off and was eventually declared null and void. So that was that. Then obviously the season after, with a pretty impressive recruitment drive in the summer, managing to keep on a good core of the squad, we took the National League North by storm, didn't we? Absolutely deservedly ran out as champions, and as well had that memorable FA Cup run as well, which resulted in us getting to the second round in that tie against Charlton Athletic. All we can say is National League North champions. They made us sing that. Of course, last season was tough. We were pretty much battered by injuries for pretty much the whole thing, and yet we still managed to stay up fairly comfortably in the end after a slow start to the season in terms of results. I think it took everyone a bit of time to adjust to that step up from the National League North into the National League. I think it took everyone a bit by surprise at first, but as well, we did have that that runs the FA Trophy final, so we didn't quite do it at Wembley, but like when you think of the amount of players that were that were cup tied, that couldn't play and what have you, it was almost a bit of a miracle that we got to the final in the first place. And that, I think that Barnet semi-final especially is something that's going to live pretty long in everyone's memory. Yeah, which obviously now leads us into this season. Very impressive recruitment. Like I think a lot, like Mike and Busted, it's hard to ignore. They are a huge part of the reason that a lot of the current squad decided to join. I think the question is now, can Rob Elliott be the reason that a lot of them will want to stay? We'll obviously soon find out, but I think what's important now is, I think in my personal opinion, that the club have done the right thing in in appointing Rob Elliott and Lewis Story and Carl Magner, familiar voices within the changing room, people that have sort of been in and amongst sort of the coaching side of it as well. So I think that was important, just to maybe settle the players down, maybe even settle the fans down as well, because is a total change in direction in terms of getting a new manager and things like that, what the club needs at this exact moment. I'm really not sure. Maybe when we get to the end of the season, we can maybe go over things, maybe see if we want to stick with Rob Elliott, see how he does initially. Then if he does well, if we achieve our targets and what have you, then we might well sort of keep him for the long term. But I think like having him as an interim at the minute is maybe for the best, just to maybe see how things go. Then if it's not meant to be, then we can maybe begin to have a look for maybe a little bit of a change in direction. But I'm fully behind Rob Elliott. I think he did that interview today, and was it today or was it recorded yesterday, not just uploaded today? But in any case, I thought he came across really well. He really does understand the fabric of the club and what's expected from the board, what the players maybe expect from the coaching side of it, what the fans expect. So hopefully it will sort of come across as a bit of a seamless transition, but at the same time, obviously there might be one or two things that Rob Elliott maybe wants to do slightly differently to what Mike Williamson did, and I think initially it might nip a little bit like a new pair of shoes, but I think it's just one of those things. You just got to give it time. You got to remember this is his first managerial role as well. But I have faith in him. I've really must say that, and I've faith in these lads. They're a good group. They'll give you everything they've got every single game. I mean, I could be the manager of Gateshead and they'd still give everything they've got. I mean, I'm not too sure what to think of me coming on here week in, week out and ranting on like I do, but they're very committed to the club. And in any case, if anyone wasn't pulling away, you've also obviously got the likes of Greg Ollie, Tinks, players that have sort of been there and done it all before at this club and know exactly what it means, that would be there to maybe give people the necessary kick up the bum if they needed it. But I really don't think they're going to have to, because I think everyone's sort of pulling in the same direction. They were under Mike. I think they still will be without Mike. So all I'm going to say is obviously just give it a chance. Obviously, as I said, Rob might have his own ideas about like what works best for us in terms of team selection, in terms of style and what have you. So just got to let him. You got to trust his judgment. That's all I'm gonna say on that. But I know they're probably not going to be watching this, but Mike, Busted, Belly, just thank you for all of it. This has been without doubt the most memorable time I've ever had as a Gateshead supporter. I mean, but probably even say even more so than 10 years ago when we sort of got so close to the football league. I just think sort of where we came from, almost like from the ashes really, and how quick we rose. Just all the memories we got to enjoy along the way. I mean, I know I got a little bit frustrated at times, but just thank you so much. We'll never forget it. And yeah, that is that for this video, and I'll be back on Saturday with Chesterfield versus Gateshead. So it really could not be a tougher start for Rob Elliott, but it is what it is, and we've ultimately just got to move on now. But until Saturday, take care. Cheers for watching. See you later.